Business Insight today, we take a look at Nigeria's green economy budget and allocation. Welcome aboard. I am Vivian Oguche. So good to have you join us on the show today. Well, let's get this ball rolling with the day's top stories. Alfreda Ambibasi, standing by.
Thank you, Vivian. Good morning and welcome. A brief rundown on our top stories this morning. NNPC acknowledges fuel queues in Lagos and across the country, moves to resolve crisis. Lagos State government commences $100 million film project. Details of these stories and more coming up after this break. Welcome back. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, has acknowledged fuel queues in some areas of Lagos and across the country, attributing it to reduced depot loadouts in Apapa, Lagos. However, NNPC has swiftly resolved the issue and says it has a 30-day fuel supply reserve. The NNPC assured Nigerians there's no need for panic buying, as there's enough fuel to meet the nation's demands and distribution will normalize soon. This situation is reminiscent of a past fuel scarcity crisis in May, triggered by the removal of fuel subsidies, which led to long queues at petrol stations nationwide, and prices surged from 184 naira per litre in Lagos to over 500 naira. And in a new development, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has commenced the $100 million Lagos Film City project in Ikosi-Ejiri region of Ekpe local government area. This public-private partnership aims to boost the entertainment sector and stimulate economic growth, aligning with the governor's commitment to the theme's agenda. The project will create extensive employment opportunities and attract substantial investments, reducing dependency on federal resources and promoting self-sufficiency. This development follows a prior memorandum of understanding with the Del York Group for the construction of the African Film City project in Ekpe. And away from that, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration has unveiled a $3.5 billion initiative aimed at fortifying the aging U.S. power grid against extreme weather and wildfires, while also integrating more electricity from renewable sources. The funding for 58 projects spanning 44 states, derived from the bipartisan 2021 infrastructure law, marks the largest ever direct investment in the U.S. grid. This move responds to challenges posed by climate change-induced storms and heat waves, coupled with increased power demand from electric vehicles and artificial intelligence. These projects, including the construction of 400 microgrids and generating over 35 gigawatts from renewable sources, emphasize resilience, efficiency, and renewable energy in the U.S. power sector. And despite a global slowdown in the smartphone market, Huawei Technologies has sold out 1.6 million units of its Mate 60 Pro handset within 6 weeks, with 400,000 units sold in the last 2 weeks. This success is attributed to its launch in August and the use of domestically made chips, overcoming challenges from U.S. technology sanctions. Huawei's achievement stands out in contrast to the overall 8% contraction in the global smartphone market, making it one of the few brands experiencing significant growth. Up next is the stock, commodities, and currency market trends. After this break, stay tuned. Welcome back. At the conclusion of Thursday's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, a total of 298,687,259 shares were traded in 5,453 deals. This corresponds to a market value of 4,483,167,662,662 naira and 71 kobo. Comparing this data with Wednesday's NGX trading day, there was a 25% decline in volume, a 5% decline in turnover, and a 12% decline in the number of deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange stands at 36,900 billion naira. In total, 114 NGX listed equities participated in trading. There were 16 gainers and 25 losers. Learn Africa led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 3 naira and 40 kobo per share, followed by Dar Communications, UPDC, and Thomas Wyatt, Nigeria. On the losing side, McNichols experienced the most significant decrease with an end-of-day price depreciation of 8.82% at 62 kobo per share, followed by Omatech Ventures, Stanbic IBTC Holdings, and Champion Breweries. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest trading volume with 56.3 million shares traded, followed by Fidelity Bank, Access Holdings, and Transcorp Nigeria. And to Ghana, at the close of Thursday's trading session on the Ghana Stock Exchange, GSE, a total of 103,406 shares were traded, equivalent to a market value of 186,151 Ghanaian cedi and 42 pesewa. Compared to Wednesday's GSE trading day, there was a 43% decline in volume and a 39% decline in turnover. The current market capitalization of the Ghana Stock Exchange stands at 73.7 billion Ghanaian cedi. In total, 14 GSE-listed equities participated in trading, with only one gainer, EcoBank Ghana, which experienced a 3.7% share price appreciation. EcoBank Transnational recorded the highest trading volume with 62,746 shares traded, followed by MTN Ghana, Fan Milk, and Total Energies Marketing Ghana. And now, in the commodities market, wheat is being traded at 587 US cents. Gold is valued at $1,965 and 60 cents. Silver is priced at $22 and 93 cents. Copper is being exchanged at $3 and 59 cents. And Brent crude oil is trading at $92 and 30 cents. And it's a wrap on business news this morning. I am Alfreda Ambe-Bassi. Vivian Uguche. Join Vivian Uguche for the next phase of Business Insights. Stay with us.
Well, it's good to have you join us again. So today we take a look at Nigeria's green economy and especially the budgetary allocation to that sector of the nation's economy. The green economy is estimated to be able to create $250 billion in investment opportunities in Nigeria. Right, particularly of note is a new $620 million US solar home system scheme, which aims to create 250,000 jobs in the solar industry, like I said earlier on, and provide access to electricity for around 25 million Nigerians, with a further $370 million US allocated to research into renewable and alternative energy sources. And of course, I'm not flying solo this morning. I got with me Desmond Majekodumi. He is joining me virtually. Desmond is a friend of the house. He is a renowned environmentalist with strong ties with the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. Desmond, good morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So let's start from the beginning, right? What is green economy?
Green economy is several things. It is actually the most important area that the economy must evolve into over the next few years, particularly the next few decades. And it is an economic system that is based on working harmoniously with nature. Okay, so you're doing your business as usual, but the difference will be whatever that business is, it must be in harmony with nature and it must be sustainable. Then there are, specific aspects like the one that you just highlighted, where there's a considerable amount of investment, and that is the solar energy, the provision of electricity from renewable sources, which are specifically the sunlight, the wind, and moving water. All those sources can produce tremendous amounts of energy. In fact, the amount of sunlight that hits the whole planet Earth in one day can power all our energy needs if we were able to tap it for a whole year. Yeah. So that is one of the most specific classic examples of green economy. But there's other examples as well. But the reality is, and this is, it's a bit of a difficult reality for people to comprehend, but it is a reality that if we do not transit to green economy, eventually we will have no economy. That's how important it is.
Fantastic. Let's talk about budgetary allocation in this sector, which you just vividly explained. Are you satisfied with the status quo?
Not at all. Not at all, at all, at all. And, I'm not trying to be overly critical. As I said earlier, it's a difficult concept to accommodate because it's new. This is a new era that humanity, not just Nigeria, or Africa, but this is a new era that humanity has come into. There's a lot of things that are going on now that are unprecedented. The most obvious example is the heating of the atmosphere. 2023 is going to go down as the hottest year ever experienced by humanity on this earth. And just a few years ago, that was the hottest year. In fact, in the last 10 years, we've had the last 5 hottest years. And we were warned about this by the meteorologists, by the scientists, by NASA Space Agency. They said, look, if we continue doing what we're doing to the environment, if we continue doing non-green economy activity in the environment and causing the damage that we're causing, this is exactly what's going to happen. And once, again, a lot of people might not be able to comprehend, okay, well, okay, so it's the hottest year. It's not that bad. We've got air conditioning, we've got fans and everything. What they have to appreciate is that this Earth, this planet Earth, which, by the way, it's the only one out of the millions of planets that have now been observed that has the capacity to support life. So this very special planet Earth, with its incredibly complex blend of atmospheric gases that keeps it at a specific average temperature throughout the years. It varies a little bit, but not too much. This particular temperature that
Well, we will work to get Desmond back, but in the meantime, internet issues, these things happen, right? When Desmond comes back, I would let him land, and then, oh, Desmond, I had your back. Please go ahead. I'd like you to finish your train of thought.
Okay, my co-pilots, yeah, we're together. So yeah, so I don't know if maybe I should cut the visual if the audio. Okay, you can hear me now, right? Okay, so yeah, what I was saying is that what we're creating against the environment, which is our life support system. Okay, a healthy environment, then you have a healthy life support. You have a deteriorated environment, you have a deteriorated life support. So what we're doing is we're causing far too much damage, and it's unprecedented. It's never been like this before. 100 years ago, 500 years ago, you could do what you want. There was loads and loads of capacity for the environment to sustain us. But with our tremendous technological advancement, incredible technology that I can be here and you're over there, and we're communicating like this all over the world. People are watching this wonderful station. Yeah, with the technological environment and the population explosion, the demand against nature has become very, very tremendous. But we haven't been doing it in a sustainable manner. And that's what the green economy is all about. So there needs to be far more investment. We need to push ourselves in that direction. Government needs to encourage us. The big corporate entities definitely need to invest in green economy, and it can be highly profitable. That's the beautiful thing. It's a win-win situation. And again, I have to emphasize, if we don't develop the green economy rapidly, eventually we shall have no economy. As one young person said, a very, very young person said this very, very wise expression that what value is money on a dead planet? And just look around you, and this is what we're creating right now. We're creating the possibility of our planet not being able to sustain human life. So green economy, more investment all the way. Thank you.
What value is money on a dead planet? That is some serious food for thought, if you ask me. So you said government is not doing enough. I'd like for you to make recommendations, seeing as you've got ties with the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. But this is what I want to pose to you, right? In other climes, you see talks about the environment playing major roles in the campaign strategies of politicians. We don't really see that here in Nigeria. What do we do to ensure that things of the environment is going to be taken very, very seriously by both government and the people?
Yeah, this is very, very important. It's essential. And well, we just better start to ask certain questions. And one of the most fundamental questions I like to ask, because we have a lot of visitors to our park, the Conservation Foundation and the Lufasi Park here in Aja. We have a lot of visitors, young people particularly. And I like to sort of reorientate our consciousness away from just looking on environment as yeah, trees and nice atmosphere, whatever. No, the environment is our life support system. And there's a very, very simple test to prove how much of a life support system it is, because I am challenging anybody who is listening and watching it. Can you hold your breath for 10 minutes? You can't. It's not possible, because you need oxygen. And where does the oxygen come from? Every one of the green leaves that you see in the trees and in the grass and in the shrubs are producing oxygen for you, as well as absorbing your carbon dioxide, a wonderful cycle. You see, nature is practicing this green economy, which is sustainable cycle, taking what another entity doesn't need and converting it into something that what that entity needs and giving it back. It's cyclical, it's harmonious. Yes, yes, yes. And this is where we really, really need to sensitize ourselves and tell ourselves, people, this thing that has maintained humanity for eons and eons, it will no longer be able to do that effectively if we ourselves don't transform, don't have a renewal of our minds. There's one very fundamental injunction that is in every one of the major scriptures that is worthy of being called a scripture. It's there in the Holy Bible, it's there in the Holy Quran, it's there in the Judas Sutras, it's there in the Bhagavad Gita, it's there. And this is the injunction or the reminder that God is not mocked. Whatsoever you sow, you shall reap. It's simple. Come on, for God's sake. You plant cassava, you're not going to harvest cocoyam. And if you think that you are, then you're somebody who will actually say, well, 2 plus 2 isn't 4. And that means you need therapy. Wake up. Wake up to the realities. You cannot continue to sow these destructive activities into your very life support system, which is what nature is. Yes, we said it earlier. 10 minutes and you don't get the oxygen that nature provides, you're out of here. Aha. So we have to reorientate our minds and start focusing on the realities of tomorrow. At least for our children's sake. For our children's sake. And I am hopeful because all of us love children, particularly our own children. And we have to admonish the leaders, we have to admonish the decision makers that now we have a responsibility to ensure that we transit into this green economy. And you ask for examples, wonderful examples, sustainable agriculture. And that's particularly good for Nigeria. There's a reason why, Vivian, our flag is green, white, green. Oh, we have tremendous potential as an agricultural nation. We were an agricultural nation. Nigeria launched herself as an agricultural nation. So we need to go back to that, but in a more sustainable fashion, in a green kind of fashion, that is using organic fertilizers, using small machineries if necessary, being careful with our irrigation systems. There's ways to do agriculture which is sustainable. And we can learn quite a bit from our forefathers because they were doing pretty sustainable agriculture. And then, of course, the clean energy transition. Yes, that is a wonderful way to ensure that you get a very, very good income, but also providing essential energy to people at a more reasonable rate. Yes, and then there's the waste. Waste, yes, waste to wealth. Some people are practicing it now. We're very happy to see that, especially with the plastics and the recycling of plastic products and the upcycling of plastic. We're very, very, very happy to see that. But it goes further than that. And I heard that in Lagos State, they're really looking at that very, very seriously. Even in Ogun State, there's some pretty advanced people in charge of the ministries of environment in both those states. They're looking at even producing energy from the waste, which is another very, very good green economy system. So the challenge I'm going to put out to you, Vivian, I hope you are doing separation of your waste in your household, because that's where it starts with each and every one of us. Are you separating your waste?
$1 million question, right? We are doing our best, actually. So I'll put this question to you finally, and then I'll have you wrap this up. So in other climes, there's been, the creation of something like infrastructure, climate, and nature fund, which it takes a major stage when it comes to budgetary allocation. Would you like to see this replicated in Nigeria? And then what else would you like to see, though, as we wrap this up?
Yes, definitely. The green bonds are a very viable activity to embark upon, producing and providing green bonds. It encourages people to start doing the green economy. We have started it in a small way here in Nigeria, and we could definitely embark on that more. And it's something that we need to put across to the financial institutions. They need to now get involved in this. They need to. And whilst they might think, okay, maybe it's a bit riskier, it's not really if it's done well, if it's supervised effectively, where the bond might be invested in, what project are you going to be doing? Can we bring in some expertise into the supervision of that project for its actualization? Yes, the financial institutions, they have a role to play here. They need to ensure that green bonds are brought out, that investment is put into viable green economy activities, and then stop investing in things that are damaging to the environment. Say, look, hey, I'm sorry, but this particular project you're doing, it is dangerous, it is deadly to the environment. We cannot invest in it, even though it might be profitable. You know what they say, the love and the pursuit of too much wealth is the root of all evil. I mean, this is how the armed robber justifies shooting somebody to get the money. So how do you justify destroying the environment just to get some profit? So we need to reorientate ourselves, particularly the leadership. It's a huge responsibility. And again, remember, what you sow is what you reap. So we pray that you shall sow a good thing, a good seed, and reap a good reward of blessing and clean, green economy.
Very beautiful way to end it. Thank you so much, Desmond. And I must say, your backdrop is awesome. It's beautiful. I like it. I like the greenery. Thank you for always answering us whenever we call on you. And we wish that you have a very fantastic day ahead of you. Thank you, Desmond.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. So Desmond Majakodumi is an environmentalist. Also, he's got very strong ties with the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, NCF. We'll take a short break. When we come back, discussion continues. Stay with us. Well, thanks for staying with us. I'm going to be joined now by Bolaji Ogunbumi as we continue to talk about the green economy, budget allocations, and all matters green economy. Right? Bolaji is a renowned expert. He is a health, safety, security, sustainability, and environment professional. Right? He is currently the HSC head for Bovas and Company Limited, Ogun State. Bolaji is also the director of VitaGuard Solutions. Bolaji, it's so good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yes. So seeing as this is your forte, your specialty, would you like to start by telling us about the 4 elements of components of green economy?
Okay, the 4 component of green economy, first, it has to do with carbon reduction or greenhouse emission reduction. It has to do with biodiversity conservation. It also has to do with environmental stewardship. It has to do with social responsibility. It has also to do with governance.
It also has to do with energy and health. Now, you also are a safety, health, sustainability, environment expert. In fact, you are called an HSSC professional. So what are the ties between the environment and health?
Yeah. Basically, there's a common saying that without the environment, or if the environment is not friendly, good health, to a certain good health can be somewhat worrisome, because environment even makes part of how you can be sure that someone has good health. For example, in the environment comprises of a lot of things, and apart from the microflora and the fauna and the habitat itself, the air, it is a mixture of gases, and if our environment is not in a good state, so it's definitely going to affect the health of individuals or people.
Take a short break, and when we come back, the discussion continues, right? Balaji, stay with us, yeah? Welcome back. So let's hit the ground running, right? Balaji, if you're good, let's talk about environmental policies and strategies in Nigeria. Are you satisfied with the budgetary allocation so far? Unmute yourself, unmute your gadget so that we can hear you clearly.
All right. Okay. All right. When it comes to budget allocation so far by our government, I wouldn't say I'm totally satisfied or not satisfied, but I believe we can actually improve or do more, because we all know that environment contribute to economic viability of any nation. So if there is no adequate budget for the environment, we may not be able to achieve a lot in terms of green economy. Though I'm a bit impressed about some of the policies that has been put in place by government, a lot of frameworks as regarding sustainability of our economy as regards green economy. So it's actually a welcome development, but I feel the government, there should still be more allocation to environment.
I'd like for you to talk about some of these frameworks that you just referred to. Which one in particular are you impressed with?
Okay, for example, when it comes to the climate change, there is a part where a particular policy has been put in place by Nigeria, which has to do with one, it's National Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Policy. So the policy encourages development and use of renewable energy sources and promote energy efficiency. And one of it has to do with national climate change policy and response strategy. And the policy is framework that focuses on mitigating and adapting to climate change impact, emphasizes the promotion of renewable energy, energy efficiency, and other green practices. And there's one other one too that really I'm impressed, and this actually promotes what we call circular economy. This is national policy on solid waste management. So it's to address waste management and aims to reduce environmental pollution.
Yeah, so this sounds very good on paper, right? Implementation now is the key. How would you like the plan to be rolled out? How would you like to see the implementation being done from federal to state to local government levels?
Well, for some countries in the world, when it comes to implementation, it's cut across everyone. It's everyone's responsibility. Though most times, most frameworks, policies are being set up by government, and they need to be intentional about it. When it comes to implementation, one of the ways I feel governments can actually help the whole country at large, like some countries did. There's what we call taxation. So increase in taxation of some products or companies that they are not green and they don't practice what we call environmental stewardship. So that will help. And also, when it comes to awareness, I feel in Nigeria there's still little awareness about so even some of these policies. It's only few people that are aware, and actually few people that are actually implementing also. So it now comes to enforcement by all these regulatory agencies. I know one of the regulatory agencies when it comes to enforcement, it has to do with NESRA. So it comes with empowerment and putting our best foot together and ensure that when it comes to enforcement, they go out there to ensure at least when it comes to all environmental stewardship, social responsibilities, even governance, because it will help the economy a lot in terms of people, planet, and profit. So it's they just need to empower these regulatory agencies to ensure they do what we call due diligence.
Talk about people, planet, and profit a little bit. Yeah, that caught my attention. Would you want to expatiate on that?
All right. When I talk about people, planet, and profit, at the three P sounds, the profits aspects has to do with the economy. For every economy that embrace um, green, or every economy that embrace what we call greenility, let me put you the word greenility, whereby they actually do a model that reduces impact of production and consumption on the environment. It creates a mutual relationship between the economic growth, people, and environmental well-being. The part of the people is whereby they're what called social and inclusion, whereby everyone is actually carried along, all the people, even when it comes to the local areas, when it comes to the local areas, whereby people are also aware, they are carried along. There's inclusiveness when it comes to the awareness about green economy. Then when it comes to also biodiversity, whereby they are aware that they don't need to cut down trees. They are aware of the importance of these trees. They are aware about the contribution to the economy. So the profit aspect is for example, statistics. In the US, currently, in year 2020, it increased their green finance increased to 21 billion, and their projection is about $150 billion in the year 2050. So, and that's the investment they've done so far in green finance. So, and the aspect of biofuels too. In 2020, currently they have the current state is about $88 billion, and their target is $326 billion. If the economy is viable in terms of sustainability, hydrogen too, they've invested so much, and the profits they are looking at, all this energy I just mentioned, it's contributed to what we call green economy. So, and the projection is by 2050 to increase to $806 billion. You can see that is huge in terms of profit. So that's why I said people, planet, profit. So the economic viability of any country or economy that embrace green economy, it's in return, it's going to be profitable, and the profit is huge. Profit is huge. So, and the planet too, we know we're actually protecting our planet. You know, all these greenhouse gas emission, what brought about this green economy of the thing is it started some centuries back. You know, back in the days whereby there's evolution, industrialization. So all those advanced economies in the world, they're trying to ensure to break out even a lot of things were done without really looking at the adverse effect in the environment. So now that they've seen the adverse effect environment and the climate change, a lot of disasters are happening all around. So they actually went back to the drawing board and said that, no, if we continue like this, at the end of the day, the environment we will not be able to live in the environment in some years to come. So it really helps most of those countries to be able to embrace what we call sustainable practices.
Fantastic, Bolaji. In fact, what you just did was to re-echo what Desmond Majekodumi talked about earlier on in the segment. He was the first guest, and he said that if you don't embrace green economy, I mean, there'll be no economy in the future, which is what you said. Now, as we begin to wrap up the show, for you to get to the solution of a problem, you must know what the problem is, right? Let's talk about some of the environmental challenges we face in Nigeria. What are the major ones that come to your mind right now?
One of the major one, first is it has to even do with our waste management. So it's really a major challenge. A lot of solid waste are not handled responsibly, and when it comes also to some of our gaseous waste. When it has to do with organizations that actually into manufacturing sectors, whereby they are not so conscious of the greenhouse gas they releases into the atmosphere. And at the end of the day, it actually affects everybody. It doesn't affect them alone. Industrialization comes with its own challenges, but the ability to be able to contain it, to ensure that the earth, the mother earth, is still sustained, because without mother earth, I don't think there will be any livelihood. So that part of the waste, solid waste, most especially when it comes to plastics, it's something that every one of us, we need to put ends together, government, private bodies, individual, NGOs, to create awareness, education, and the investment in that aspect, whereby we have a lot of companies to be able to recycle, and the companies also need to make it as part of their sustainability goal or objective, to ensure that their end-to-end process is sustainable. When it comes to supply chain, all the raw materials they use in manufacturing, they are sustainable. They are not raw materials whereby at the end of the day it cannot decompose. And if whereby all these raw materials, when it become end products, maybe in terms of their packaging materials, or even the content, to ensure that it takes time, it lasts longer. Though a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are doing a lot, because we have what we call GRI. A lot of companies has embraced, because of their investors are very intentional about their sustainability goals and objective, and what their footprint is, and they are very intentional about them reporting. So we have framework for reporting to, which is a GRI, Global Reporting Initiative. So they need to report all the activities. So everyone, like I said, it's everyone's responsibility to achieve this, and to ensure that at least when we go out there, we are proud of our country, we are proud of our environment. We can see that everywhere is green. Even from my bunker, you can see what a green background. So we are preaching for green environment.
That's a fantastic background. Thank you so much. Now, some of the things you talked about was carbon footprints, right? So some other challenges of some of the environmental challenges we face includes overpopulation and pollution. So what would you recommend, though, for government to do in order to reduce the carbon footprints in Nigeria?
Okay, one of the things the government can actually do is to embrace renewable energy. Though the government is trying, maybe this current government is trying to create awareness in terms of what we call compressed natural gas for some of the major equipment that we use in mobility. But we can still do more, because when we come to overpopulation, just like as you mentioned, a lot of people want to the rural urban migration, whereby a lot of people want to move from rural area to urban cities because of access to some of these resources and for a better livelihood. If those rural areas are being developed and industrialization, eco-friendly, and being specific, eco-friendly industrialization are being done in those rural environments. So there won't be need for any rural urban migration. So the places we also call rural areas or rural cities will become urban with time. So I believe majority of the city we are currently staying, or that they are regarded as urban, in the early maybe 1920s, 1900, I believe all those places are more or less like rural areas. So those period too. But now look at what we were able to achieve. But though we doing that, the process of making things better, urbanization, with a lot of things we've done that we are not so conscious about environment. Now climate change has come to stay. So it is our core responsibility to ensure that we manage climate, to ensure the temperature does not surpass 2 degrees Celsius, like a conference of parties that we've been having others, or that have been having others years, that involves all nations across board, to ensure that temperature does not increase, does not surpass our current temperature, because of the natural disaster that virtually all countries are experiencing. Nigeria is not so far from it, flooding in some areas. But if all these development are being done, whereby we reduce the population in the cities to the rural areas, there won't be need for more. There will be a drastic reduction in carbon footprint, and everybody also need to be intentional. It's like I said, it's everybody's responsibility. It's not only government alone. It's not only industries alone. It's everybody. It's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility.
Thank you so much. Your final thoughts, Bolaji, as regards Nigeria's green economy, budget, and allocation.
Okay. Yeah. My final thought is, I feel we still need to do more, and involve a lot of expatriates when it comes to putting the budget together. There's what we call consultation. So we have a lot of environmentalists in this country that they are really competent at what they do. So we need to involve them when budgets need to be done.
Thank you so much, Bolaji. You've been fantastic on the show. We hope that when we call on you again, you will say yes. Do have a fantastic weekend ahead of you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Bolaji Ogunbumi is a health, safety, security, sustainability, and environment professional. He is currently the HSE head for Bovas and Company Limited, Ogun State, and the director of Vital Guard Solutions. That is our show for today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And to everyone who contributed to making the show a success, I say a big thank you. Until we come your way again, same time, same station, next week, have yourself a fantastic weekend. I am Vivian Oguche. Bye.